The way that people communicate is always changing and evolving. People seek help in all kinds of different ways now. So much of that is digital. Barriers to access shouldn't be the reason that someone doesn't get support. Thanks to funders like Nominet, Samaritans is able to ensure that for the future, whenever people need us, we'll be there for them. One of the key challenges that we have is that currently we are sometimes not able to actually meet the demand for our service. And so it's really important that we're able to expand our service provision and expand it in new ways.
Samaritans has been around for 70 years and is well known for providing an emotional support service on the phone. But we're aware that the world is changing around us. People are using the phone less in their daily lives. They are seeking support in different ways.
If somebody never makes any phone calls and then they're in a moment of significant distress and need to reach out to someone, you might just not even think to pick up the phone. You go on a search engine and look for something, or you go around social media and see what's out there.
As a funder, it can be really easy to be prescriptive, to demand what you think should be funded. But if you're a funder that wants to achieve social impact, then you have to defer the right to decide what's best to those with the deepest expertise. But undoubtedly, Samaritans have the deepest expertise in this space.
Nominet haven't only provided financial support to us, they have also brought their knowledge, their skills and their experience. And I am immensely grateful to Nominet for partnering with us at Samaritans to help make sure that we are continuing not only to innovate, but to future-proof our service as well.
And chat is a form of instant messaging. Callers come onto our website and they click through to say that they want to chat to a Samaritan. There are loads of people that find speaking on the phone really difficult, particularly younger people, but not only younger people, perhaps people that are hard of hearing or people that don't have a private space to speak on the phone.
We conducted an evaluation of our service and we found that 60% of people who used our online chat service hadn't contacted us before, and about 40% said they wouldn't have contacted us in any other way.
I think the anonymity of online chat just makes it easier for callers to say what's on their minds. Demand's been incredibly high from the very beginning. We've never advertised the service, but from when we first opened, there was already a queue waiting. It's clear there's a huge demand for this service.
The Samaritan Self-Help app is a web app that anyone can access from any device. It contains techniques that can help people cope with distressing feelings. The good thing about self-help is that you can do it whenever you've got a private moment, so it can really complement the listening service and the other services that we provide. To date, we've got over 100,000 registered users. I definitely took a lot of pride in seeing that number go up.
Sometimes when you're anxious, you don't want to speak to someone else. Just using the app is great. I've used that for a long time. Just like different things on there which help you. You can set up like a journal, you can journal your stuff, things to reassure you with. You can just go off and read like other people's stories and how they felt and stuff. And that makes you feel good as well because it makes you feel like you're not alone.
The online environment can be a really supportive place for people. It can help people access really useful information. It can help people access services like Samaritan services, but it can also enable people to access content which is distressing. It might be triggering. It could be instructive. So it's really important that if we want to prevent suicide, then we have to consider the role the online environment is playing.
I first looked online for support because I was really struggling. I wanted to find some help. Some of what I found was really useful and it helped me to feel less alone. But I also found that some content was not helpful. I didn't find it supportive. In fact, some of what I was looking at made the thoughts I was having even worse. I'm much more careful about the content I look at online now. I make sure I'm mindful of the effect that it's having on my emotional health. And I know sometimes I just need to step away from the online world.
The Online Safety Hub for Practitioners is a digital resource hub on internet safety around suicide and self-harm. We've created lots of different information and materials that practitioners can use in their work, and it's all geared towards encouraging them to start conversations with people that they work with about what they do online and if they're looking at material around suicide and self-harm. So we did quite a lot of work with practitioners to start with. We did workshops, interviews, surveys. A lot of the time it's just a real nervousness around bringing the subject up. A lot of them feel that they're a bit older, they maybe aren't familiar with things like TikTok or Instagram. And yeah, just feeling like it's a new area for them. It's not something they're used to bringing up. But hopefully through these conversations they'll start being able to ask questions about how it affects people over time. And hopefully that'll just bring out if there's any things that they might want to change about their internet use, anything that might be having a negative impact on them.
The volunteer dashboard is basically a visualisation of the number of people that are using our service or waiting to use our service. It's something that volunteers use on shift. It's incredibly valuable, and actually it's hard to remember the time before it was there. It's hard to imagine that we didn't used to have it, particularly if you're doing something like an overnight shift. It does give you that sense of being part of something and the importance that you are there with all of those other volunteers providing this service for people who, you know, in the middle of the night don't have anyone else to reach out to.
So the email service is a service we've been providing since, I think it predates web browsers, so we were pretty early to email. Everybody gets the same response time, and that's kind of because we lifted and shifted the model from the phone to the email service. The platform kind of insists on a one-size-fits-all kind of model, and what we're seeing is that different people have different needs. In some cases that might be what somebody wants is a rapid response, and in other cases it might be somebody is wanting to have a conversation over a period of days. We're sort of moving off our old technology platform to a new platform that would allow us to be more responsive to the kind of ebb and flow of the different conversation types.
We've made great strides recently. We've got much more modern systems, we've got teams with the right skills, we've got better ways of working, but there's still lots to do.
Digital transformation is really laying the foundations for Samaritans to make sure that we are going to continue to develop our services and expand into new digital areas to ensure that for the future, whenever people need us and however they want to reach out to us, we'll be there for them.
One of the big changes is probably moving from Samaritans is a helpline to Samaritans is an organisation whose vision is that fewer people dying by suicide, and we may need a portfolio and range of services.
I think it's really important that other funders and other supporters look at the Samaritans and look at organisations like the Samaritans and help them think through how they can adapt those services, how they can evolve those services to make sure that they're appropriate in the 21st century. To back an organisation that is so vital, that has challenged itself to go through that innovation process, that transformation process, and be fit for now and fit for the future, has been really humbling. And so it's been an honour to support the Samaritans.